Welcome, one and all. My name is Jason Davis, and this is Empower Volusia Common Sense, which sometimes doesn't run around too rapidly. We're coming to you hidden somewhere in an undisclosed location in the western highlands of Volusia County, Florida, hidden in an iron bunker, and we are guarded by our 2 rabid Pomeranians and 1 crazy cat. Yes, last night one of the rabid Pomeranians and the crazy cat had a little bit of a discussion, shall we say, and the cat came out on top of that discussion, and it scared the little Pomeranian so badly. Our little skipper, he was just afraid, and so anyways, he this morning I picked him up and he kind of cried a little bit, and he was crying a little bit last night. I think he got hurt, and I keep telling him, don't mess with that cat.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
But you know what? He just doesn't listen to me sometimes. So anyway, he's feeling much better this morning, and he's up being 1 rabid Pomeranian, and everything seems to be going well today in the Iron Bunker. Today's date, of course, is the 2nd day of August. We're finally over that hot, hot summer, only to walk into a massive hurricane, a Category 5 today, and it is beating the living daylights out of the Bahamas, and it's got like 23 foot. I'm watching the news and listening to all the news broadcasts, and it's a 23 foot storm surge. And a storm surge, for those of you that don't know what that is, that's where the storm comes up to an island or a landmass of some sort, and it creates, with wind and surf and everything, this huge wave of water, and it just swells and swells and swells, and they say it's up to 23 feet, and the Bahamas is only 4 feet above sea level, so it's flooding, and it's devastating down there, folks, and our hearts and prayers go out to the people that are living and vacationing down there. They're stuck down there in the Bahamas. So what are we going to talk about today? And that is kind of what we're talking about today here, is hurricane preparations. The hurricane is not here yet, here in Florida. It's just starting to show its fingers of feeder bands out there in the southern Florida area. And, the projection on these cones of variance, because it has these, when you see it, they got this big swath. Well, they're saying anywhere in that big swath, the center of the hurricane can be. That's very important for us to know, because if it goes to the east side of that cone, it's really going to whack Florida hard. If it goes, to the west side of the cone, it's going to whack Florida hard. If it goes to the east side of the cone, it's still going to hit us, but we're just going to get feeder bands, and we're not going to get as bad as the devastation. Now, the cone of error, they generally say they're trying to tell you that the eye of the hurricane is going to go up the center of that thing. Now, the eye of a hurricane, I have to give you all a little bit of meteorology background here. The eye of a hurricane is a very quiet, calm center. Everything is swirling around it. And this is, the sun shines, you might get some light rain, but the devastating winds of 220 plus miles an hour are not beating you down. You don't get hurricane force winds. You're not getting the tropical storm winds of anywhere from 35 to 75 miles an hour. It's a calm in the storm. And that's really not what you need to worry about. You need to worry about everything that's in front of that as it comes to us. That's why we are really in the preparation area. And I'll tell you, right here at the Iron Bunker, we've been tying down everything and, moving cars around and making sure animals are good, and the rabid Pomeranians are under control, and the crazy cat, he's got a place to hide. He doesn't like thunder. He'll go hide under something. But the rabid Pomeranians just lay on the couch like, what's going on? It's kind of an interesting thing. It's usually the other way around. But anyway, so the preparation's been going on, and the Iron Bunker is secured. We have our power sources set up, and everything is good to go. And we started this last week, Tuesday, we started our prep. Wednesday, the lovely Miss Sherry, she went out and she did the the initial supply run. I was out and about doing fuel stops and fuel runs for the generators and everything, the cars and all. And on Thursday, I had to pick up a few extra things. And, over the weekend, just little bitty nitpicky things, a bag of chips, a couple cans of Coke, something like that. So we are ready here. Well, you're never ready. You may be prepared, but you're never ready. So that's an Army thing. So anyways, talking about this preparation thing, it's really kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not kidding about this. This is serious stuff. I mean, this entire storm, I'm not going to downplay it. It is going to be a serious rain event, wind event. It's going to be a serious situation here in Florida. I mean, we are looking at some pretty interesting weather that's going to come through. So I'm being very serious about this.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, don't call me Shirley at all. So anyways, but here's the thing, and sometimes I think our media hype really gets everybody a little high and mighty, and they instill panic to a degree. And here's one thing I wanted to talk to you. See, I always talk to you about water because I'm a kind of a amateur hydrologist. I know how water works. I know water flows downhill. I know the pressure of water. For every foot above the ground, you raise a gallon of water, it adds 1 pound of pressure. Okay, that's very important to know because, see, I was at the local grocery store and at the local, our local box store here in the great town of Pearson. And I was over in Walmart. I was at Winn-Dixie. I've been around, and they have no water, no bottled water anywhere. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I'm chugging along doing my thing. And there are people standing in line at this one at Walmart the other day. And, I really probably shouldn't say their name anymore. I mean, I'm not giving commercials for these people or anything. But if they want to, they can sponsor us and we'll give them a commercial. And you too. But anyways, so this lady was standing, and I had to get around her to get whatever I was looking for. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. She goes, "You're trying to get water?" And I said, "No, I'm not trying to get water." "Oh, you've already gotten all your water." I says, "No, why would I get water?" And like, "Well, the storm's coming." I said, "And?" She goes, "Well, you'll need water." And I says, "You need water every day." I still don't grasp this concept from her. And she says, "Well, when the hurricane comes, you're going to need extra water to consume for, coffee or whatever." And I says, "Why would I do that?" And she goes, "Well, because the power will go out." And I said, "The power will go out. And what's that got to do with anything?" And she says, "Well, you won't have water." And then I had to explain to her that I was the past county chair of Volusia County government, and we worked with all the cities. And all the 16 cities in Volusia County have generator systems. It was part of our hurricane preparedness. I said, "They have generators." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Where does your water come from?" "Well, it comes from the city." I said, "Exactly. It's pumped out of the aquifer, the ground, and it's pumped up to a tower that's 50, 60 feet tall." She goes, "Yes." I said, "When it comes out of there, gravity and weight and hydrology and all this other information, I can really go in the weeds, but I'm not going to. But the water pressure coming out of there is anywhere from 40 to 50 pounds of pressure." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "They have a generator on that system." "They do?" I said, "They do. So if the power goes out, the water will still flow because the city has a generator there which is running the electricity for the electric pump, which pumps the water out of the aquifer and back up to the top of the tower." "Oh," I said, "the only way you would ever really need water would be," and I'm telling you all this, the only reason in a hurricane you might need to buy water is if the storm knocked down the water tower. And believe me, those things are pretty secure. I've only seen one fall down in my entire life, and that was in combat because it was blown up. But other than that, I've never seen a water tower fall down. They're designed and built and anchored to the ground so securely. They are rated for these high winds so that you don't have to worry about the water tower crashing down, and because, oh my gosh, that would be terrible. It would fall down. It would destroy a whole bunch. I mean, we're talking probably close to 1 million gallons of water. I mean, these things are huge, and if it fell down, it would destroy where it landed, plus the flooding waters would wash out cars and houses. I mean, we're talking a lot of pressure, a lot of weight. You're talking a lot of disaster, and that would be a disaster. So the lady looked at me, and she goes, so what you're telling me, I said, you live in a city? And she goes, yes. She says, so what you're telling me is that if the power goes out of my house, I will still have water. I said, yes, you will still have water. And if you had taken a little time and bought a generator, she goes, we did. I said, then you'll have power. And she goes, oh. I said, the only thing you need to do here, ma'am, is just buy your supplies, your groceries, maybe salt, soap and water, soap and, your just normal groceries, stock up if you're going to stay here. Now, if you're going to leave town and you're going to be in the evacuation, yeah, you need to put some water, a case of water in your car. Because I'm going to tell you here now, sometimes people just don't listen, and that really bothers me.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
And they've been communicating to you very, very directly. Let me tell you this, folks. If you are within the sound of my voice and you are living on a coastal area, what we call a barrier island, now that this storm is supposedly taking that northern turn, it's going to come up the coast of Florida. Get off the barrier island, folks. It's a sandbar you built your house on or a hotel on. Get out of there. There is nothing there to break the wind. That water, the storm surge, which we talked about a moment ago, will come in and wash the beach away. Sorry. And by the way, we're not going to replenish the beaches here. We don't. Nature has to do its thing. It can be very devastating. And if you have an issue out there, if something happens and you get injured in any way, shape, or form, first responders can't get to you. Not until the storm goes by and after the Department of Transportation and the county inspect the bridges to make sure that they're sound enough to drive over. So you're stuck. Why take your chances in your life, with your life, because you want to hang out on the beach? Oh, I want to hang out and watch it, or I'm going to go surfing, or I'm going to... Guys, heed the warnings. Category 5 hurricanes are dangerous. They are what we consider destruction forces of nature. Just remember, back in the 1992, Andrew wiped out an entire southern part of Florida. It was a Category 5, no, 4. A high 4, low 5. And it wiped out houses, towns, cities, buildings. It didn't take the water towers down, and I know that. But it took everything else out, and there was, matter of fact, my brother, who was a truck driver, was commissioned to bring telephone poles down from Tennessee to Andrew area, and he did it for months and months and months. They were replacing all the telephone power poles. They had to replace their power grid. I think most of it's underground now. They had to rebuild buildings and little towns and houses. And I mean, I saw pictures of it. I was in the Army at the time. Saw pictures of it where it looked like somebody had just taken a cheese grater and gone across the bottom of the state of Florida and just took everything off. It was terrible. This is what you're looking at, folks, right now. We are looking at a storm that can be like a huge cheese grater and just take everything off the ground. Any substandard building is going to be gone. I'll tell you that much. It's, some of these condemned buildings that we've seen around, drive around every once in a while, and you see these buildings with the sign on, do not enter condemned. Every once in a while you see one. That'll be gone. We don't have to worry. We'll just have to pick up the mess afterwards. And that's terrible. I mean, folks, the truth of the matter is you need to take heed when heed is given.
You can't handle the truth.
You need to take that truth and say, my life is more important than sitting here and watching the wind and rain blow by. So please take heed. Please be prepared. If you're on the barrier island of Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, Flagler, if you're on the coastline of the state of Florida, from all the way down there from where this thing's going to hit, was it Palm Beach down there, West Palm, you need to get the heck off that beach because it's just not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. You can replace houses and cars and trucks and things like that, but you can't replace your life. And this is the most important thing. When I was the county chair, when that hurricane came through, we were adamant about it. We were going door to door. The sheriff, Ben Johnson, at that time, had his deputies driving up and down the road. Get off the beach. Get off, get off, get off. Doing everything he can to save lives, and that's what this is all about. We need to save lives, folks, and you need to think straight. And you need to think with a little common sense, and I'm not closing the show now, but you need to use your common sense and really ask yourself, is this really worth it just so I can do what? Get a selfie with the hurricane? Is that what you're trying to do? I mean, that's stupid. Taking pictures of the hurricane or videos or whatever, your life is worth more than that. So please heed the warnings. The governor's adamant. The first lady of the state of Florida, she was adamant. I saw her on Facebook this morning giving the speech because apparently there are people that are saying, oh, I'm going to stay here. No, don't stay there. And here's the other thing. Once the storm is done, wherever you are, stay there inside. Because I'll tell you right here and now, you go if you're on the beach side, which we call the beach side, the barrier island. If you're on the beach side here in Daytona Beach and you go, oh, let's go see the damage, and you're driving up and down the road, two things could happen. One, a power line could be down or something could be down or just barely hanging, and as you're driving down the road, you could get hurt bad, and nobody's coming to get you. So think that through. Think with your brain, folks. And the second thing is, if you're out there driving around and deputy sheriff drives up, he's going to arrest you because there's a curfew when these storms come through. We enact a curfew here in Volusia County. Do not go out after 6 till 6. And after the storm has come through, do not stay home. Don't get out. You don't need to be looking at all this stuff. You don't. We have people that are insurance agents and all that look at that stuff to assess damages. So you don't need to do their job for them. Just stay home. Stay in the safety of your own home. If you got a generator, you're good until the fuel runs out. But that's another thing. If you're out of power and on the barrier island, you're not going to get any gas and nobody's going to be opened. So it's really just, it does not make any sense whatsoever to stay out there. So I can't say this enough, folks. Evacuation order starts in about 45 minutes. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, or almost 10 o'clock in the a.m. here, and I hope this gets out to everybody before. Get off the beach. Please save your lives. And that's where we're at with that today. But anyways, hurricane preparedness, we're going back onto that. If you don't live on the barrier island, and you want to hang around, like here in the Iron Bunker, we're on the west side of Volusia in the undisclosed location in the Highlands here, and we're pretty safe. We've lived through a couple of hurricanes. The Iron Bunker's been here since 1980, so I don't think it's going to go too far. And of course, the storm is moving off the coast, so it's going to go up parallel to Florida. And hopefully everybody survives well, and that's what we're hoping for and asking for. But now, digressing back to the beginning of the show, the Bahamas. Once all of this storm, which has almost stopped and is hovering over the Bahamas, dumping millions of gallons of water, blowing 200-mile-an-hour winds, knocking trees, cars, houses, everything down and out, they're going to need some help. They're going to need a lot of help because the island's going to be pretty much decimated. The little island chain there, a couple of the islands are not too bad off because the Bahama Islands, it's a little chain of islands. But Grand Bahama is going to be pretty well hammered. All this extra water you got, think this through. All this extra water you got, all these extra cans of food that you went out and purchased because you were in a panic mode, which was fine. But all this water and food and things that you have bought to stockpile up on yourself in your pantry, what are you going to do with it? Well, you know what I think you need to do? You need to go down to like the Red Cross, or you need to go to a veterans organization, or you need to go somewhere, find out some place to do this, and drop off your excess supplies so they can be shipped over there to the Bahamas so people can get over this hurricane. It's going to be a long road to recovery. You know, probably as long as Puerto Rico's been going through it for 2+ years. So, I mean, but that's a political issue. We'll go into that one other day. But no, let's help out the Bahamas. I mean, they've been good to the United States. You know, it's a great place to go visit and hang out, and crystal clear blue waters and all that good stuff. Let's see if we can help them out. So, if you got extra water, extra food, extra materials, extra batteries, all that stuff, extra radios. You can send anything over there once they get the supply line going. Let's go ahead and help out our direct neighbor, our closest neighbor in the Atlantic Ocean, which is the Bahamas. Let's help them out because that's what neighbors do. So let's help out our neighbor when we get a chance. And let's see, what else have we got to go with here today? It's pretty much just business. The Iron Bunker here. We're just hunkering down and hanging on, and I look out the window of the studio here, and it's a beautiful blue sky. Sun is shining, and it's literally the calm before the storm. And so I hope everybody hears this. Take heed. Be careful. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Nothing at all stupid. When the storm is over, stay home. Wait for the officials, law enforcement officers, and everybody to say it's all clear, because those two words, all clear, means you can go out. And then go out. And if you got to drive around and see what's going on, go ahead. But trust me, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be stuck at the house because, like here in the old Iron Bunker, we lose power quite frequently just because everything's above ground and the wind blows and we get a big good rainstorm and then everything falls down. So take heed, be careful, and please be safe and use some common sense.